All right, we got the legendary Matt Johns in the house. MJ, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. Good to see you, big guy.
You too. We too. What is going on in your world right now?
We are currently in our last week of vacation. As you know, in the college coaching world is like very sacred time. Coach gave us a good 3 to 4 weeks off, and we're enjoying that. Obviously, I was in the office a little bit because I couldn't help myself, so went and watched the guys work out a good bit, and but was awesome. Got down to see my brother in Key West.
Mm.
Spent a lot of time with the fiance now down in Raleigh. Got to see the family for my birthday, and then now I'm just enjoying this last week. I would say the last couple of days. We're back in the office on Monday and back to the grind on August 1st.
Now, is it the same anxiety you had as a player? Because as a player, you got to go through stuff physically. So to me, there's some sort of anxiety here of like playbook, physical,
Mhm.
balancing life. You're leaving things behind. You're missing weddings. You're missing birthdays. All the normal sacrifices that we try not to blink at, but it's normal life. You do. Now, as a coach, you're still missing and sacrificing a lot of things, but you're not getting beat up. Do you have the same similar anxiety? Because I always have a ton of it when we get closer to training camp. Usually after July 4, I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
I think naturally as a competitor, that just it's always going to happen. The good part is we've had a lot of continuity on our coaching staff and within our team, the roster itself. So it's been nice because there's a lot of there's not a lot of moving pieces. There's obviously some roles that we need to find who's going to step up to the plate this year. But it's been really nice to work with the same guys for the last 2 to 3 years, and then same with our quarterback room and our offense as a whole. So yeah, there that anxiety and stress kind of is natural, but it's something that we live for as well. It gets the juices going for preseason.
Yes, it does. Now, have you seen? I've asked everybody this question. Have you seen the quarterback show on Netflix?
Yep, just finished it last night.
I thought it was slow in the beginning, and I thought it was stuff we already saw in the beginning. Great. We know Mahomes is a freak. We know these guys are a freak. And then it got really, really good.
hmm
There's so many takeaways. Kirk was amazing. His process, his toughness, his leadership skills. Guys love him on that team. That was so clear to see. I thought Mariota, I was like, this guy's still got it. I thought he's going to be a perfect fit to be a backup in Philly. And if something goes wrong, he's going to win you some games and be a leader and be confident and make plays for you. He's like a man, compared to what you saw him at Oregon. As such a kid, and he kind of like has been in and out and grinding through things. And then you find him now, he's like a man. And then obviously Mahomes is, I think he'll be the greatest quarterback ever. Doesn't take anything away from Tom Brady. But when you just talk about quarterbacks, winning you one game, winning you one season, this guy is on a different level than everybody else compared to what he, and what he has around him too is good too. So that were kind of my takeaways. What were yours?
Yeah, I thought it was the coolest part about it was seeing the day-to-day life that these guys live. I think, people all they see is the sound bites on ESPN. They see the social media on Instagram. They see, Mahomes playing in these golf tournaments, but they don't realize what this guy has put his body through. Not just him, all three of them, and honestly, every person that plays in the NFL, right? But then also the mental demands it takes to be a great quarterback. You hear we were texting about the long play calls, and people are like, and it's funny because I send them to our quarterbacks because there's some similar verbiage and from the West Coast system that is just standard across the entire league, right? But it was really cool because you get to see how much these guys are processing in such a short amount of time. And they are really special individuals from an intellectual standpoint, from a physical standpoint, and then to do it year after year after year. You look at all three of those guys and how long they've been doing it at a high level for. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, I just think the day-to-day processes that they were handling their business was really, really freaking cool, because that's the stuff that the outside world doesn't get to see.
And we probably only saw 10% of it, right?
Oh, not even. You saw
Their
like
processes are
5%.
crazy. Now, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on Kirk taking the full day off? I absolutely love that
Yeah.
personally. It's something I adopted. You pick up so many different things from so many vets or coaches or whatever over the years. You kind of forget where you get them from. But
hmm
it's something I've really tried to do. It's like you're just ready to go again on Wednesday. But if you don't take the day, you don't like, to me, that my best year of football, I have like 2 beers or 3 beers on the Monday night
hmm
before the off day on Tuesday. And just again, it could be whatever. It could be dinner with your whatever. And we was COVID. My wife was working. We couldn't really see each other. I had to test every day. So I sit on my back porch. I spent a little bit more money than I usually would to rent a place. and I just sat on Lake Norman and I had a couple beers. I just checked out. And then Tuesday I would like swim and float, take my COVID test, and just like regroup the mind, sit in the sauna, and just take the day. I feel like when I'd watch film, I just was like rushing through it. I'd rather just get up a little earlier on Wednesday and do the hour that I would watch on the off day anyway. So what were your thoughts on the quarterback position? A guy that's done this, put the prep in, especially in college at UVA where your educational, the education's a lot of pressure too. What are your thoughts on the complete day off?
Yeah, I think it's something that you earn, as a vet. I think that's the first part of it. I think, you have to get to a point where you feel comfortable enough in your own skin to be able to say, hey, I'm going to be better because of this. When I was a graduate assistant, we didn't work on Sundays. And the first 3 weeks of me figuring out how we were operating, I worked. I went into the office. I couldn't help myself. And then as I learned the process that, okay, this is what needs to happen. This is what needs to be done. I would go in for a couple hours because I had to be ready for that Monday. But man, was that day was really important. And it makes you more eager to come back to work, right? You reset and you're recharging. And I think it helps the organization as a whole because you need a day apart from each other in general. You know what I mean? You're around each other all the time. So when you can step away and get that reset and recharge, it's really important. And honestly, it was hard for me even the first couple of years in coaching when, you have this long break in the summer and long, it's 3 to 4 weeks, but you really have to step away because you're going to be doing plenty of football the rest of the year. But no.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I thought, Kirk, it clearly works for him. They had a great season last year. Obviously, he's still chasing that Super Bowl. And, he's at a point in his career where he's going to have a chance to go do that, especially with those guys around him. But, I think it's something that is it's actually really important for your own mental health.
Are you going to give your staff a day off when you're the head coach somewhere someday on a Sunday?
I think I will. And if I don't, it'll be a very efficient, quick Sunday. But that's definitely something that I was like, wow, I think if you have continuity on your staff, you can absolutely do it.
And I think it's going to be like there's new media and there's new ways everybody's doing everything. I really think the college football landscape needs to be edited. Now with NIL, there's more transfer ported. It really, that puts my opinion to be debunked because now you're doing way more hats. Your recruiting is way crazier than it's ever been, at least from an outside perspective. And talking to you and coaches that I'm always talking to, I think, right, there's going to be some sort of general manager model. There's going to be assistants in scouting. They're going to have to grow these departments here. And there's more money behind programs now more than ever. Of course, some programs more than others, but TV deals and all this stuff, there's a lot more resources now to have staff members, et cetera. But I think a part of the new coaching style, guys like you and I that may enter the business, but you're in it and are moving up. It's like I saw all my coaches at Temple work so hard, almost like to the point where they're driving home. They're getting 3-4 hours of sleep. Is it necessary to have success? Sure. But the time away from family scares the hell out of me. The time away from your friends and family and coaching your kids and all that stuff and being around the Sunday picnic. I think Sunday's the ideal day to do it. You told me that, and I have a journal. I've told you about it before, like coaches, who I'd hire, how I go about it, how I build the staff, days off. I think you have to do it. Now, the NFL, I don't know. It's a different model. But in college, I think you can get away with it. I think you can say that you would do it. I think I do the same thing. Your GAs, though, man, your GAs and your assistants got to be ballers.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what I would do probably. GAs and assistants. I guess you have to break it down right after the game, which is a pain in the ass.
There's just so many departments now. I think if your organization is perfectly designed, that you have a chance. And you have to have guys that are loyal to you. You have to have guys that know what they're doing. They're competent, right? And then you have guys that when they're in the office, there is no BS. I mean, you are freaking grinding when you're in the office. And that was, that's very similar to our model now at William Mary and how it was when I was a graduate assistant under Bronco Mendenhall. And, I've been lucky to work for 2 unbelievable head coaches and the fact that they're really good people and they do prioritize people first. Families are in the offices all the time. You have those days where the head coach is saying you literally have to leave. You're not allowed to be in here. And I think that when that starts at the top and there isn't that fear of always looking over your shoulder, I think that's the culture that needs to be created from the top down that allows assistants to work their tails off when they're in office, and when they're off, they can actually, take that time off.
Yeah, it's if fear of getting too far into football, oh, screw it, I don't care. It's my show. I guess we could do it. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. I think the unique thing about football now too is they're changing the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Say in the college world, you play on Saturday, you have a walkthrough Friday, you have practice Thursday. They're walking through Thursday, practice Friday, game Saturday. And the science behind it of, hey, we're going to get your legs moving again. You're going to have your harder practices Tuesday, Wednesday. It gives you a down day on Thursday, and then you can ramp back up on Friday. Just get moving, get warmed up. The O-line just take their sets. The D-line just take their set. And, you complete some balls. It's like 4 plays in each period. It's unique. It's a leap of faith. But we did it in Carolina for about 1.5 years I was there, and I loved it. My body was responding so well to it because I could empty the tank in Wednesday and Thursday and try to get as much confidence as I could. I think a lot of coaches, and you talk to like sports science folks, like, here's the math. Well, listen, I know what Thursday is. I know in the NFL it's a Friday, but I know it's a walkthrough. So I can go and do a little extra conditioning on Thursday after practice because I don't need to save my legs for another practice. I can really shut it down. I thought that was advantageous. Have you guys done that in any of the buildings you've been in?
Yeah, actually, my first year at William Mary, we did that. The hardest part about it was when the kids did do it, when we executed it properly. I thought it worked really well. It was just hard to get the kids. You're about to play a game the next day, and hey, you got to go full speed right now. It took weeks to get that moving forward. To get the kids to really buy into that. So the mindset was probably the hardest part to shift in that model. But we've gone back to the more traditional model of, Friday is going to be our walkthrough day and game day Saturday. So we go, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are, pretty intense practices. Friday's a light walkthrough, and then Saturday we're ready to go. And, both models work in my opinion. It's just a matter of what the kids are going to buy into. And yeah, I see value in both.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting debate. All right, let's transition to football here. I need to ask you about Key West. Your brother works down there. We can have some fun on the show, chopping it up. It's no secret on this show. I'm a big Key West guy, shocker, and spent a lot of time down there. Good buddies with the great Tom Johns, Matt's brother, and all of Matt's family. They're amazing people. Know your parents well from back in the day. What's your favorite? Where's some of your favorite spots in Key West hit? You got to spend a little time down there. I know it's hard.
Yeah,
coaching to get down there, but what are some of your spots, man? What do you enjoy about the town?
Yeah, the one is just, you just walk out wherever you're staying, right? And it's just paradise every day. There's palm trees. It's, everyone's happy. No one's angry. It's just the vibes there are just awesome. So this was actually my first time being out on the water in the summer. I've done some fishing trips during like January and February with the family, but it was like 60, 70, so we weren't getting in the water. This time we went out to some sandbars, and man, that was like a game changer. We were out there for 5-6 hours, just blasting music, hanging out with each other. I mean, life was good.
You're like, man, I could do this every day. That's where you get hooked, because it's one thing to go power around town, which we'll get into, and it's awesome. But when you can get out in the water there, it's a whole nother dynamic.
Yeah.
And do that. Really and do that. You're not on some tourist boat snorkeling, like getting stung by jellyfish. You're like up in this, whatever, some key off of like Sugarloaf or whatever, and you're just in the middle. There's nowhere around you.
Right. Yeah. And then I would say probably my 3 favorite spots in this order. It's going to be, obviously number 1, Shots and Giggles. Nothing tops that place. Number 2 is going to be Hanks. They have great live music all the time. Tom actually manages there now, so it's been that's always been one of our favorite spots. They have a little food truck in the back that dives driving, whatever that show is. They went back there. Me and my brother got a lobster roll last week. They're from, freshly flown in from Maine. Delicious. And then the last one's going to be probably Hog's Breath. Those are the 3 staples for us as a Johns family. And they have been since Tom moved down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good spots. Those 3 are wonderful, and there's constantly new ones all the time. And we talk about them all the time on the show. So when are we retiring and just being a coach high school football down there? They have a great staff, they have great coaches, but every single football guy I get down there is like, man, what's our high school football team like? I'm like, well, Mike Leach didn't get the job. It's competitive.
Yeah. His what is it, Sloppy Joe's is his spot. He's got his seat hanging up in the rafters now, and I
Dude,
was down
he
there
had
taking a
so
picture
many
of it.
spots down there. Every single
Oh.
person tells me something new that was his spot. I didn't know that was his spot. I thought it was Captain Tony's.
That's what it is. It's Captain Tony's. It's
There
Captain
you go.
Tony's. Yeah,
Captain Tony's.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I messed it up.
But he's been in every place. I've seen him in Rick's. I've seen him in Harpoons for breakfast. I saw him. Your brother and I were out having a good time one night. I forget where we saw him. I've seen him all over town. The guy was just like man of the people and so normal. Like he could just be himself there. You know, like I'm sure he was himself all the time. Like he didn't care. But that place, you can just be who you are and just really kick it back. Now, do you ever get a chance to meet Coach Leach?
I did not. But actually, so his O-line coach at Texas Tech was Robert Anai. So Robert Anai was the offensive coordinator at Virginia my senior year, and when I went back as a grad assistant. So, a lot of the stuff we were running was similar to Leach's. The signals were the same. Those air raid guys, they don't care. They're going to signal it themselves, and it's going to be simple. And I'm watching TV with my brother, and they're doing the 92 house signal, which was mesh for them. And I'm like, look at my little brother, hey, here comes mesh. And he's like, how'd you know that? I'm like, wow, that was our signal. But I've heard so many good stories about the guy. Actually, our current tight end coach and myself, we sit in the office a lot and just watch Mike Leach videos. When it's late at night and we're a little delirious, getting ready to head out of the office, we're like, hey, let's throw in a couple Mike Leach videos for a good laugh. So, rest his soul, because he will be severely missed in this profession. Not only on the football field, but in the press conference as well.
No doubt, man. His spirit is all around Key West. Like the guy was always there, folks. Like always. The minute he had a break, and it's not an easy place to get to from Washington and from Texas. And like he was always there. He applied for the head coaching job there back in the day. And they said he was overqualified. And then he went on this crazy college football run and journey and ended up at Texas Tech. And kind of the rest was history. He was always at bars. He was always leaving great tips. He was always buying people drinks. Just a guy who embodied like Key West and really leaned into it. That's that guy. So I digress. Now, it's funny because we could talk so much. You watch so many offenses in college and pro football, but are there some offenses in college and pro football that stand out to you that you enjoy watching the most?
Yeah. One that I would say we spend a lot of time watching is Baylor. More so because they play the game very similar to the way we do, with the wide zone, the play action shots, not too many RPOs, but there's a time and place for those. But, I would definitely say Baylor is probably top of the list. And then we have our former offensive line coach from William Mary is up at UConn now. So he's, they're running a similar system up there as well. And then obviously you're going to watch the top guys all the time. So Georgia, Tennessee, Penn State, Ohio State, the big names that everyone's studying on. But the biggest thing is when you're watching those guys, okay, what fits into our system? Everyone's got good plays. Okay. It's got to fit into what you do and what you believe in. And I think that's really important. And every year there's always a couple teams that, like this past year, Incarnate Word was the top offense in FCS football. And, they were doing some really dynamic things on the offensive side of the ball. And, we studied them. And so I would say, those are the big names that we've watched these last couple of years, and, seeing the trends that are coming into the game.
I love it, man. Now, what you got? Any Brock Bowers on your roster you could pop the ball to? And that's no disrespect to the William and Mary tight ends, guys, but this cat is different. I mean, he may be able to play in the NFL like 3 years ago. Different,
no doubt.
Darnell Washington, holy cow,
freaks. So we did some professional development as an offensive staff this offseason, and Georgia was one of the places we went. So we went down there for 2 or 3 days, spent time with their offensive staff, just picking their brain a little bit, got to sit in their meetings. And they had a scrimmage actually on one of the practice days. And Brock Bowers runs like a wheel route and catches this ball one-handed over his back shoulder, literally 10 feet in front of us. And we all looked at each other and we didn't even say anything because we were just like, wow, this guy is different. This guy is different.
I'm like, I'm on a show the other day. I'm like, who do we compare him to? I'm like, Kittle, Andrews, Kelsey, Waller, like who, Hawkinson, like, Yeah, that team's different. You know,
Yeah.
eh, they're different. Now, I don't know if you can talk about this. Maybe you can, but you had a trip up to Buffalo. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. We so Sean McDermott actually cool. He's a local Philly guy, which was awesome. He came down for his William Mary Hall of Fame speech, induction, I should say. I wouldn't say it was in March, and he came to our spring game, was awesome. Spent some time with the staff, gave us all good advice. And he was like, come up for OTAs anytime you guys want. And then Joe Brady, who's the quarterback coach up there now, he's a William Mary alum as well. So we had a couple connections. We went up there, and then actually Dalton Kincaid, who was the first round draft pick, played for our offensive coordinator at San Diego. So, it was kind of a little reunion for those two, which was really cool. Awesome guy, obviously an unbelievable talent as a first rounder. But yeah, got to go up to Buffalo, see Josh Allen slinging around, hang out with Coach Brady, Coach McDermott. It was an awesome time.
McDermott, Brady, Tomlin, Johns. That's it, baby. Who else? Is there any other guys other than the big four I just said there that are like really doing well in pro football out of the William and Mary tribe?
Alan Williams is the defensive coordinator for the Bears.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. There's definitely going to be some names. There's some guys in the scouting department. I know. I think he's the head of college scouting or pro scouting for the Bengals. He's a William Mary alum. I'm trying to think who else. DJ Mangus is the OC for the Buffalo Bulls, University of Buffalo. So, there's a lot of William Mary alum floating around the NFL and college football.
It's a bunch of just gritty dudes, man, grinding in the streets of. Where's it at?
It's Williamsburg, Virginia.
Williamsburg. That's it. That's
right.
Where'd we go to grab a beer and a burger the one time I came through?
Amber Ox.
Good spot. Shout out bar of the week on the Matt John show. Okay, so wedding a couple years ago, we're having fun, couple drinks. Coach Rule asked you what play you're running. I said, Coach Rule, this is your guy, man. You got to hire him. The legendary Matt Johns, he says, what's your last play, Matt Johns, on the goal line to score a touchdown, 2-point conversion to win the game? What do you got for us, Coach? I mean, you don't have to go into the verbiage. You can if you want. But what's the last play, and what do you want it to look like?
I think it depends on where you're at, right? I think hold on, I'm losing you for a sec.
Hold on, you're good.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, cool. It's freezing on my end. So, I think it all depends on where you're at. But at the time, you guys were, you guys had Christian McCaffrey, and I think he said he put it on like the 3 or 4 yard line. And, I actually had a little play action, and, I'm biased. So, I did a little play action to C-Mac, and then, a little boot to slip you out in the flat and, give you a score. Why would I not draw that play up at your wedding?
You're throwing it to me? I mean, listen.
100%.
I can't run, but I can catch. So be perfect on a goal line there. I can just catch it and fall down because I'm really good at that.
That's right.
Hey, Jason Witten's in the Hall of Fame for doing that. So, at the end of the day, it's no big deal. Okay, so last year you guys make a great run at William and Mary. Talk about the run you guys went on.
Yeah, so we started the season. I think we finished the regular season 10-1, so best regular season in William Mary history. We started the same offensive and defensive line for every single game of our season. Was a lot of fun. A lot of credit goes to the kids. At the FCS level, you don't have the same resources that the FBS schools do, but our kids don't care. They don't make those excuses. They were there in June and July putting the time in, and that was really something that we had to push in order for them to understand what it was going to take to be successful and go try and win a national championship. Now the kids, once we started the season, I think we were 4 or 5-0. The kids started to believe like, okay, we can really go do this. And that was the biggest shift within our team, which was awesome to see. And then now we're at a point where the kids believe, and it's a matter of, keeping their confidence, but also keeping them humble so that they're continuing to work. We went out to Montana State and took a beating, but it was really good for our staff to see, our team to see, our administration to see as a whole, like, this is what it looks like at the highest level. This is where we want to be, and that's where we want to go and win a national championship in Frisco, Texas. And we believe this is a big year for us, and we have a team that can go do it.
Is it in Frisco every year?
Yes, it is. I'm
Why
sure
is
they'll
that?
move it soon, but the last, I want to say, 10 years has probably been in Frisco, Texas.
Why is it there? It just got stuck there a couple of years ago.
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question.
T1AA, like who are the teams? Like, I guess it's FCS now. I just can't get that out of my head.
Mhm.
But who are the teams like forever that have just been really good and like the big names in that category?
I would say North Dakota State's probably top of the list.
Yeah.
Recently, it's been South Dakota State, Montana, Delaware. Then you're going to have, JMU just moved to FBS, but JMU was the dominant team in the CAA for a long time. And, we were lucky to have a great season and win the CAA last year, and, going to try and do it again this year. But trying to think other teams that stick out. Obviously, Villanova is always a great program. But the top of the list and the standard in FCS football has been North Dakota State for a long, long time.
What has made them so good? With South Dakota State, North Dakota State obviously is dominant. You got all these quarterbacks that come out of North Dakota State. You got Goddard comes out of South Dakota State. But like, is it the recruiting up there? Like, are they just taking every kid from that state and they're saying you're not leaving, or how do they end up being so good?
I think it's a mixture of everything, right? I think that recruiting is the top of the list. They're getting guys that fit what they do, and they're tough, freaking hard-nosed players. And then on top of that, they've had consistency and continuity within their coaching staff. And then they have the resources to, have sustained success. And I think, those three things are going to be the model for any team to have sustained success. And, they have really, really tough kids, and they're a lot of fun to watch when you put on the TV.
Yeah, they are, man. They run a lot of different. I mean, I forgot about Trey Lance, Wentz. Who's the other kid who's still in the league? I'm sorry, I forget your name, man. Do you know?
Mm.
It was Wentz. He got drafted. I forget
Yeah,
his name. He came after Carson.
Yeah, shoot, he won a national championship, I believe.
All right, now
because he was the quarterback before the Kansas State coach left to become the Kansas State head coach. Shoot,
Easton Stick, I believe is the name.
Jack in the back comes pouring in with the facts. Where's he at now?
What was
Jack?
his name?
Easton Stick.
Easton Stick. There it is.
I don't know where he is right now. He's with the Chargers. He's been with them his whole career. 5th round pick.
5th round pick.
Wow.
That's great Eastern Stick knowledge, Jack. Not to be confused with the play stick or the play stick nod. Is that in your offense, Matt?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Okay.
Gotta get the ball to the tight end, let him work in space.
Someone asked me the other day, Keenan Bailey, shout out, tight end coach at Ohio State. He said, hey, what offense you running? Go. And he's giving me shit. I'm like, no. This is the question. Who are my tight ends? Who's my fullback? Who am I run? To me, it's all about tight ends. It's all about tight ends in the offense. I don't care what anybody says.
12 personnel. Let's go.
You have the guys that run duo. You have the guys that run power. You're more of a spread it out and put the guy in the slot and run RPOs with him. Is he standing out by himself because he's a freak of nature and he runs like Darren Waller? Like, that to me, I start there. Obviously, the quarterback, of course. Don't get me wrong. But other than the quarterback, it's like, do you agree? Like, who are my gadgets? And they're a big part of those gadget guys.
Absolutely. I mean, I think when you have those, when you get in 12 personnel and you can get in big formations, and then you can spread him out and put him as the number 2 receiver, and he's lined up over a nickel, and you give him those option routes, or he can run a seam, and he's running past guys. I think those create mismatches that the defensive play caller only has a limited number of calls that he can have versus those personnel. So, it's a way to, add another hat in the run game, but also, a dynamic pass catcher down the field.
All right. So as we wrap up, I think a cool part of your journey, and my city and I were on the same one, is the long distance relationship. We both started dating your future wife, my current wife, at the same time. I mean, this is probably 2013.
Yeah.
And it's tough in our business. It's tough on our spouses. It's both ways, right? You're trying to create your own lives and support and go your own direction. But you guys are getting married. I'm jacked for you guys. What's the initial plans here for the wedding?
Yeah, it's looking like January of 2025. We were just in Philly looking at venues, so we're looking forward to that. But yeah, that's the plan as of now, January of 25, and we still got another about year and a half to get this thing rolling.
I love it, man. I'm so jacked for you guys. Now, Coach London, if you're listening, I got 2 requests. Okay. Matt needs to do some recruiting in South Florida early February. Now, I hope I'm with the team in the Super Bowl, but if I'm not one of the 2 teams in the NFL in the Super Bowl, we'll have Thompson Family Kids Camp the first Saturday in February. Need you there for that, Coach. I need you there. And then the next weekend, we have the Key West Cup, which is a fishing tournament and shuffleboard tournament, then the Super Bowl. So in between, we got to send Matt all over South Florida. We got to get Matt recruiting in Key West. They got to kick going to Florida State. Coach London, shoot me a text. We'll get you there too. I'd love to help you out. Love to have you at the camp. Maybe I'll like Coach London, the entire staff. That could be the way you and I could eventually be in Key West together.
Hey, that's what it's going to take, because usually we start spring ball the Monday after the Super Bowl. So if you can get that done, you'll be a hero on our staff.
Come on, Coach London. Start that puppy on Wednesday. Go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Get the kids out for the weekend. Bang. The great Matt Johns, folks, this guy will be a head coach in college football one day, an offensive coordinator for whatever he wants to do. I don't want to speak for him, but Matt is a stud, and we go way back to Matt dunking on me in AAU basketball games and me realizing that I need to go play basketball because I can't guard this guy. I'm out. So Matt has helped me through a lot of things. With my first year, Matt was still trying to continue his career a little bit. And was getting a cup of coffees, I think, Kansas City and Baltimore. And Matt was throwing to me at CB South and, just continue to sharpen the sword. And I can't thank you enough for being a great friend forever. And we'll see what the future holds here for both of us. And I think, I think you'll be coaching somewhere big. I mean, William Mary's awesome. I hope you're that, you're the quarterback coach there forever, if that's what you want.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that's what you want.
No, it's one of those things when you get in this profession, like, I'm going to move up as fast as I can, blah, blah, blah. But I'm really lucky to coach awesome kids. And, I just enjoy every single day that I have with them because they're really special. And, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. And I love every second of it. So, I'm really appreciative of Coach London for the opportunity. And shoot, man, you've been a huge part of my journey as well. So I appreciate you. I always tell kids when you sign off on them, like, hey, you understand who just signed off on you. Colin Thompson just doesn't put his name on anybody. So, I've always appreciated you and what you've done for me, and shoot, even my family, get my parents tickets to Temple games, whatever it may be. Really appreciate you and all that you do, especially for the Southeastern PA community, because that goes a long way for those kids.
Well, and also tip your brother 50% every time, whether I get good service from him or not. He gives the best service. And then secondly, what Matt's saying is I send Matt a lot of kids that I put my name on, that I think, hey, check this kid out. What do you think? What level is he at? And Matt always gets back to me. You're the man. Good luck this season, buddy. First game, where and when?
August 31st at Campbell University. They just joined our conference, another D1AA school in North Carolina. And they're a really good program, and we're gonna have our hands full.
Busing or flying?
We will be driving.
Okay.
We'll be driving.
The wheels on the bus go round and round. The great Matt Johns, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.